Okay, so we didn't do the notebook on Thursday, so I need you to fill out your notebook for homework and get all your stuff organized, okay? So go ahead and put Algebra 2, your name, whatever period on the front. Okay, I'm just going to briefly explain what's on each page, so you'll probably want to pause the video and then tape everything in, write the title, all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to, you know, keep it on the video for that long. So you're going to have to pause the video and then keep pausing and unpausing, you know, to write everything down and put everything in there. Okay, first page is a table of contents. Most of you already have this. I did add a little bit more, so go ahead and pause so you can write that down. That is page 1, the bottom, okay? All right, remember the front is one number, so like the front is page 1, and then the back of this would be page 2. Would be page 2, okay? Nothing on page 2. Page 3 is going to be simplifying expressions and solving equations. So if you have that paper, go ahead and put that in there. If you don't have that paper, then I'll give that to you next time. Okay, I taped it along this edge. There's a piece of tape here, and there's a piece of tape right here, so that I could flip this paper back and forth to see the back, okay? Don't tape up here on the sides, because then you won't be able to flip it over, okay? Okay, also I put a little tab. You just grab a little sticky note or something, and that says simplifying and solving. That's page 3. Okay, page 4 is blank. Page 5 is called Relations and Functions, and this is where your graphic organizer from the first day of school homework goes. Okay, I also put a tab on this page called Relations and Functions. So the tabs are the same as the title for that page. Okay, on page 6, that was page 5. On page 6, I number my pages at the bottom. You can do bottom or top, it doesn't really matter. Okay, this is going to be interval notation. So go ahead and find your interval notation notes and cut them out, and then you can tape that in. I just taped all 4 corners. Okay, page 7. This is page 7. Domain and range, we had a little half sheet. So go ahead and find that half sheet. I cut the ends off to make it fit how I wanted it. And then I put a tab on page 7 that said interval notation / domain and range. Okay, page 8 is where you're going to put your blue foldable, and we're going to title it Characteristics of Functions. That's page 8, and then make sure you don't tape this shut. I taped the corners up here right before the fold, and then the corners at the bottom right before the fold. Okay? All right, page 9 right now is blank, but I did put the tab for Characteristics of Functions on page 9. Okay, page 10 is going to be your function notation. I gave you a half sheet, and we did notes that day for function notation, so you don't have to cut it or anything. It should already be a half sheet that should fit. That's on page 10. Page 11 is going to be some more examples of function notation. So you can go ahead and pause, write those down. I'm going to come back and do those at the end of this video. So page 11 is just more function notation. Also on that page, I put a tab and called it function notation. Okay, page 12 is blank. Okay, nothing on page 12. Page 13, parent functions. Okay, this was, you had to fill this in for homework. Okay, I folded it. I just folded the full sheet. If you unfold it, and that you had to do all the parent functions, and then there is a back as well. So again, I only taped right here and then down here, just at the very top, so that you're able to flip it over. Don't tape the corners because you won't be able to flip it over. Okay, so that's parent functions, and then I also made a tab for parent functions. That's page 13. Okay, page 14 is blank. And then on page 15, I put the absolute value functions that we did on Thursday. Okay, so those were our notes from, and we actually started it on Tuesday. The front was the notes from Tuesday, and then the back, if you flip it over, is the notes from Thursday, the piecewise stuff. So again, just fold that one. I don't fold it like completely in half, but basically we're folding it in half. Tape the top edge right here and tape the top edge right here. You can't glue these down because then you won't be able to flip them over. So you must use tape for these. On some of the other ones you can use glue, but these have to be taped so you can flip it completely over. Okay, and then I also added a tab for absolute value, and I notice I put the tab like below, and then it just kind of covers that up once it's folded. Okay, and that's on page 15. So that's all we have so far in the notebook. Okay, and that's reflected right here. All we have right now is till page 15, which is the absolute value. Okay, turn back over to the function notation, which is page 11. And I'm going to do these couple examples with you for those of you who need more help with function notation. Okay, so we're going to do number 1. So they've given us the f of x and the g of x up here. And we have to plug in f of 6a minus 1. So I'm going to take the x out of here and I'm going to put in 6a minus 1. So I'm going to have 5 minus 2, parenthesis, take the x out, 6a minus 1. Okay, distribute my negative 2. So negative 2 times 6a is negative 12a, and negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Now I can combine my 5 and my negative 2, which is 7. Bring down my negative 12a, and that's about all I can do. So my answer is going to be negative 12a plus 7. Doesn't really matter which way you write it. Okay, g of 5a. Alright, so I'm going to take the x out. Remember, you need to use parentheses when you take the x out and put the 5a in. So instead of x squared, I'm going to do 5a squared minus 3. Now take the x out, parenthesis 5a, and then plus 4. Okay, so now here, a lot of people made this mistake on assignment 1.4. When you have 5a squared, you have to square the 5 and square the a. So that would be 25a squared. Negative 3 times 5a would be negative 15a. And then plus 4. Now we don't have any like terms, so we are done. Okay, so number 3. Okay, so we have to do 2 times f of x, which means we put a 2 and then parenthesis whatever f of x is. So that's 5 minus 2x. We don't have to change anything about that because it's still just x. Then minus 3 of g of x. So again, we just plug in g of x, x squared minus 3x plus 4. Okay, so when the number's on the outside, that's when you have to distribute it to your whole function. So 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times negative 2 makes negative 4x. Negative 3 times x squared, negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 3x, positive 9x. And negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Okay, most of the mistakes come from just simple algebra mistakes, not actual algebra 2 mistakes. So make sure you distribute that in negative 3, not in positive 3. Okay, now I can combine like terms. I don't have anything to go with my negative 3x squared. I have a negative 4x and a positive 9x, giving me positive 5x. And I have a positive 10 and a negative 12, giving me negative 2. So my final answer is going to be negative 3x squared plus 5x minus 2. Feel free to pause and rewind if you need to, if I'm going too fast. Okay, for the very last one, we're doing f of 4a. So we take 5 minus 2, parenthesis, take the x out, put the 4a in, minus g of 2a. Okay, so when you have a minus, make sure you put parentheses right there, because that minus applies to everything in that g function. So now, instead of putting x squared, we're going to put 2a squared in parentheses, minus 3 parenthesis 2a plus 4, close bracket. Okay, this is very important. A lot of people miss this on assignment 1.4 also. Okay, so now we're simplifying. So we have 5, negative 2 times 4 gives me negative 8a, minus, I'm just going to simplify the inside right now, 2a squared, I got to square the 2 and square the a, making it 4a squared. Negative 3 times 2a is negative 6a, and negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Okay, so now I have to distribute that minus sign to everything in those brackets. So I have 5 minus 8a minus 4a squared plus 6a plus 12. Combine like terms. So I don't have anything to go with the 4a squared, the negative 4a squared. I have a negative 8a and a positive 6a, giving me negative 2a. And then I have a positive 5 and a positive 12, giving me 17. So my final answer down here is negative 4a squared minus 2a plus 17. Okay, so hopefully if you were struggling with the function notation, that maybe can give you a few more examples in your notebook for when we do more of these problems. Okay, that's it for now. Make sure you have this done for Monday.